Okay. Peace. I hope that you're doing well, and let me start off by showing my appreciation for you for helping and supporting our company. But furthermore, I want to congratulate you on taking this step on learning your birth chart, you feel me? Because it is a very essential step. It's like the first step. Um, But then once you thoroughly understand your birth chart, which I will be helping you, um, I will also give you an opportunity to learn astrology for yourself. Because you see, the thing about the birth chart, as I'm sure you're aware, is it's so deep. And what I'm doing is like touching on like the fundamentals, like the essentials of the information you need to know, you feel me? But then once that's covered and that's done, um, you personally can dive a lot deeper into more specific areas, because it's like the thing about the signs is they correlate and they relate with so many different things that I can't cover all of them. But yeah, anyways, yeah, so congratulations on that. And the value is ultimately living a more fulfilling life through alignment. You feel me? And yeah, I got the mic right now because yeah, I wanted to do it correctly this time, with like the sound and everything like that. But without further ado, let's definitely jump into your reading. So today we are going to be covering the 7th house to the 12th house. This is going to be session 2, you feel me? And in this session, we're going to complete the houses. And then on the next session, we're going to get deeper into the houses by looking at the planets. We'll be looking at the planets. I'll tell you what they mean, and I'll explain like the houses they're in, how they're influencing the house, and I'll also go back to the houses. Because each planet rules a house, and I'll give you more insight into like that house. You feel me? I hope it makes sense to you. But anyways, the first house we're going to be discussing is Venus. Well, my bad, I said Venus, but it's the 7th house, which is a house that's ruled by Venus. But I think the reason why I got thrown off is because your 7th house is ruled by the planet Venus, right? So first and foremost, your 7th house cusp is Taurus, right? But interesting and worth also mentioning is it's 28 degrees Taurus. So that means only 2 degrees of your 7th house is in the sign Taurus. And then the rest of the degrees, which is the 28 degrees, is in the sign Gemini. So what's more important is the cusp sign, like where the 7th house begins. That's like the most powerful area, you feel me, the cusp. And so where that area is concerned, you have Taurus sitting there. But then there are certain energies that deal with your 7th house that are more so in the background, that may be more so like supporting factors, you feel me? That more deals so with the Geminian energy, which is a mercurial energy. So let's get into what the 7th house is. The 7th house is first and foremost the house that's associated naturally to Libra. You feel me? This is a house that deals with Liberian energy, and so Libra is an air sign. Libra is the second air sign within the zodiac. Gemini the first, Libra the second, and then Aquarius the third. And so with Libra being the second, it's kind of like a intermedium energy. Like it's like a medium. And what I mean by this is it's like the middleman. You feel what I'm saying? It's the middleman between Gemini and Aquarius. And so Gemini is all about the inner realm. It's all about I think, my thoughts, what I think. It's very much influenced by its own personal like yearnings and desires and thoughts. Like Gemini is more like self-centered, but internally centered. You feel me? Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer, the first signs, they're all internally centered. But then Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio, they're mediums, right? They're not completely inwardly focused, but they kind of take the guidance of others, take the advice of others. They take into consideration what other people have to say before they truly go about taking action. You feel me? Before they go about like altering their own point of view. Like they it's a medium mix of both them thinking internally but simultaneously taking into consideration what other people think. So it's a modification energy, right? So it's like I already had a thought, but then I'm gonna allow this person I trust to modify that thought for me, and then I'm gonna act. You feel me? So that's that Libra energy. I mean, that's that second emanation energy, which deals with the second emanation, or the second coming of the elements. I hope this makes sense to you, but it's definitely valuable to understand. And later, if you choose to, which I highly recommend you do, learn astrology, then we'll get deeper into that, and you'll have a better awareness and understanding of astrology, and then you'll be able to dive deep into your chart, like even way deeper than what I'm doing for you right now. But yeah, anyways, so as I was saying right previously, I just want to check real quick to make sure that I am recording. And I should be. I'm pretty sure I am. I just gotta double check. All right. Yeah. Okay. So that's what Libra is. Pardon me. My bad. That's what Libra is. Libra. It's a sign that deals with like relationships, partnerships, one-on-one personal relationships, to be specific. Like Gemini, it deals with the association with the self. And so Gemini is the sign of thoughts, right? And so the thing about thoughts is whenever you're thinking something, mentally, your thoughts are like your associates, you feel me? So whatever thought you're entertaining is like your associate, you feel me? And so that's Gemini. It's more very personal. But then Libra is like association with other people outside of you. But then Aquarius is like association with the world at large, you feel me? So it's not a one-on-one connection, but it's just with the world at large. And all right, so first and foremost, when the 7th house is in the sign Taurus, it is okay here because it's in the sign that's ruled by the planet that's associated with it. Both Taurus and Libra deal with relationships and Venetian energy, but the thing about Taurus is it's more sensual, it more deals with possession, it more deals with value, it more deals with the accumulation of stuff, you feel me? And then Libra more so deals with relationships, associationship with people, partnerships, and things like that. So Libra and Taurus, they're like the two sides of the Venetian energy. And so first and foremost, with Venus being within your with Taurus being within your 7th house, it indicates that when it comes to partnerships and relationships, there can be this theme of like security and stability that manifests when it comes into play. But I do, like right now, I feel like for me to give justice to this explanation, I kind of do got to bring up Venus, because Venus is ruling this planet, meaning it's influencing the energies of the 7th house. Now, Venus is in detriment, Venus is in the sign Virgo. And Venus does okay in the sign Virgo. It's not as bad as when Venus is like in Aries or Venus is in Scorpio, because Venus in Aries is like completely detached from other people, and then Venus in Scorpio, it's also completely detached from other people, but it's more like detached from other people in a manner of like Aries is ego, right? Ego is what detaches Aries from other people, but then Scorpio is like depth, they're way too deep, and they're way too like for like raw, like raw and real, you feel me? So it's like, whereas most people live on the surface level, Scorpio is much deeper, and they're much more like touchy and watery, you feel me? And so and because Scorpio is like a sign that deals with like unseen forces, it deals with intensity, it deals with like the unconscious mind, like a Scorpio has this ability to like kind of make someone feel uncomfortable, someone feel naked, and it's like Scorpio rules the sex organs, right? And that's nudity ultimately. And so yeah, that's primarily why Scorpio kind of finds themselves isolated, but it goes a lot deeper than that, and I'll get a little bit more into Scorpio later when we're talking about Mars, because then we'll talk about your first house, which is in Scorpio. But when Venus is in Virgo, what happens here is it's like you start to analyze and rationalize and logicalize affection, you feel me? Relationships, partners, intimacy, things like that. And so the thing about the planet Venus is Venus and the moon, right? They're like the primary feminine planets within astrology. Now, Venus deals with feelings, right? Like sensation, having feelings for someone, things like that. You feel me? Meanwhile, the moon deals more so with emotions. And the thing about emotions is like they're more inwardly focused, right? It's something that more deals with you, yourself. And so when Venus is in Virgo, it's an energy of assimilation, and they're continuously breaking down and digesting like the emotions and the feelings and things like that. And so to sum this up, like what this energy right here is highlighting is that like while there is an approach of stability in partnerships and relationships, meaning that once you're in a relationship, in a partnership, there's a tendency of like you acquiring more like stability and security within it. But like that stability and security, because it's Taurus and not Scorpio, and Scorpio and Taurus are opposites, the polar, because it's Taurus and not Scorpio. Like it kind of may be superficial and it may be shallow. Like you might find yourself attracting people that may have wealth, that may have money, that may be able to support you like from a materialistic place. They may even be good in bed and like be sensual and touchy and things like that. And there is a tendency of benefiting financially from like your partners, and this is just your personal, the people that you come close in contact with. But there may be this lack of energy when it comes to deep, intimate, emotional connection. You feel me? And like, yeah, Scorpio kind of plays a role, like with your ascendant in Scorpio, it plays a role in you not being able to fully and truly connect with others on a deeper, intimate level, but kind of keep it more superficial. It's like what you want as a person is depth, but then what your partner may be bringing may be superficial and maybe more so things inclined towards like the material realm and things like that. But yeah, I would say pretty much that concludes with the seventh house in Taurus. So there is this energy of attracting even beautiful people, right? Because Taurus deals with beauty. You may have a tendency of attracting really gorgeous and beautiful looking people. And I already mentioned how people that are financially well, financially set off. And there can be also, because Taurus is a fixed sign, there can be loyalty also there between you and the people. But then like there are certain dormant energies that may come later in the relationship and in the partnership that are Geminian, right? And Gemini is more of a sign that's like very fleety, very changeable, kind of unreliable, you feel me? And so whereas Taurus is very loyal and stable, the Geminian energy is more like sneaky. Like when you think of Loki, right? The god of mischief, trickery, and things like that. That's Mercurial energy. Like Loki is Mercury. So to better understand Gemini, you can understand the Mercurial energy. You feel me? And so there is that two polarity there, where it's like on one end, you attract a lot of people that are like financially set off, that may be superficial though, may not be so deep. And Gemini kind of adds to this because the thing about the Gemini energy is at times Gemini can know a lot about nothing, for example, or be too involved with themselves to truly forge a connection with someone else. But yeah, that pretty much includes like the seventh house energy. And when we get to Venus, I'll dive deeper into the seventh house energy because I got to talk a lot more about Venus to get into the seventh house energy. But I don't want to talk too much about Venus right now because I'm saving that for the planets session. You feel me? And yeah, right now we got to cover the houses. So I got to make sure I am using my time wisely. All right, so next house is the eighth house. So if you have hold on, give me a sec, it's loading right now. If you have the seventh house in Taurus, then the 8th house would be in the sign Cancer. You feel me? Oh, my bad, Gemini, not Cancer, Gemini. But that's like the way that your chart is set up. It's like the majority of that house belongs to the next sign, but then the cusp, the beginning of it, is the sign before that sign. So for example, like your 8th house cusp ruler is Gemini, and that's Mercury. But then like a lot of your 8th house, the constellation within your 8th house, a lot of those stars are from Cancer. But then when we get into your 9th house, a tiny bit of stars are going to be in the sign Cancer, but most of the stars within your 9th house is going to be in the sign Leo. I'll get into that later. You feel me? But right now, I don't want to confuse you. So, yeah, Cancer in the 8th house. My bad. Gemini in the 8th house. Okay. So you have Gemini in your 8th house. Like that's the ruling sign, the cusp sign. You feel me? And so, with you having Gemini within Cancer, oh my God, with you having Gemini within the 8th house, this indicates that well, I gotta first look at where you have Gemini at. Where you have Mercury at. So Mercury is also in the 8th house, which is pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, for sure. So there is a tremendous rulership over your 8th house by the mercurial energy. So the 8th house, right? Traditionally, it's well known, like exoterically, like widely known to be like the house of, like, death, sex, other people's money, public resources. Yeah, you feel me? But also deep emotional connections with partners. Like the 7th house, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier about the emanation, you feel me? And how like Leo, Virgo, Scorpio, and Libra, these signs are more so inclined towards interacting with people, right? Like their energy is like second coming. So they're a medium between the first coming of the element and then the last coming of the element. You feel me? Yeah. And so, yeah, with Scorpio, it's like Libra, it's the deeper emotional connection with others that the association with others, like enjoying another person's company, things like that. But then Scorpio, which is also in this case brought forth because we're talking about the 8th house, is more like really getting to know someone and really exposing yourself on all aspects, your vulnerabilities and all of that, and then them really knowing who you are. You feel me? And having established a bond, having established a deeper intimate connection with you, because that's water. You feel me? Water deals with connections. And so you have that in the sign. The cusp of it is Gemini, but most of it is in Cancer. All right, so first and foremost, discuss the cusp. For starters, with Gemini being the cusp ruler, right? When it comes to your thoughts, that's where you need to put death. Like death and transformation. Like the thing about death is, it's another word for death is transformation, because nothing truly dies, right? The death of the caterpillar is the birth of the butterfly type deal. You feel me? Or like the phoenix, right, which dies and must be born again from its own ashes type energy. So death is not really an ending, but a beginning of something new. It's kind of like the number 10, right? The number 10 is commonly known as the last number, but after 10, right, we have 11, 12, and that's a new sequence of the numbers. It's a higher octave of the numbers. And I hope you get what I'm saying here. All right, so there, first and foremost, are certain thoughts, that you may find yourself entertaining, that may be rather corrosive, meaning destructive to your nature. Because okay, Scorpio, it's also ruled by traditionally, commonly it's known to be ruled by Mars, but it's also modernly ruled by the planet Pluto. You feel me? And the thing about the planet Pluto is it's a planet of corrosion. Like Pluto is the planet that brings death to things. Truly, it transforms things. Because Pluto is a very dualistic planet. On one end, it deals with material corruption. You feel me? It deals with like evil people who are so infatuated with greed and like ego and lust, just material things, that they're corrupt. They're evil. Like they don't really care about anybody else. Like they're gross and icky. Like that's Pluto energy. But simultaneously, Pluto also deals with people that have transcended like the material plane and that have truly awakened to the understanding of spirituality. And on that note, Pluto is the planet of universal welfare. You feel me? Its energy is corrosive, yeah, but simultaneously it's also a universal wellness planet, meaning individuals who have transcended the lower octave of Pluto and operate from the higher octave of Pluto understand that they are a part of a grander system. You feel me? They're all part of a like, you could, for example, to give an example, right? Like, just as in our body, when different cells start to not work together, illness happens, to the larger community, right? Like cancer cells is a good example, right? And what better example than cancer cells? And but Saturn actually rules Cancer in of itself, and Cancer is selfishness, like because Saturn is the planet of selfishness. I don't want to get too deep into this because I want to stay on course. But yeah, yeah. So it's like on that higher octave, these are individuals who have come to the realization that actually I need to make sure that I am my best self. I am doing what I can do to my fullest ability and potential. Not sleep on these gifts that the divine has given me, but cultivate and develop them to my fullest, and then serve others, so then I can be a great contributor to like the welfare of the universe, which is a larger body, right? Like within our body there are cells, right, that make up the community. Then we are like humans in of ourselves. You can say we are like a species, because within the body, like every organ is composed of its own unique cell. Like the heart is composed of heart cells, you feel me? And they have, like, the eyes are composed of eye cells, like cells that are eyes, like the brain is composed of like brain cells, which are like neurons and things like that. And so humans, we are all the same because we're composing one large organ within this planet. Trees are composing another organ within this planet, collectively, you feel me? Animals, etc., etc., etc. And so that's when, like, that's the higher octave of Pluto truly awakening to the unity of everything. So Pluto is a very dualistic planet, you feel me? And so yeah, on one end, like when Pluto is in, my bad, and you have your sun in the 8th house too, right? So it's not a bad thing that I'm diving really deep into this, and really explaining it. So the 8th house, right? This house, when it's ruled by Mercury, and let's talk a little bit about what Mercury is. Mercury is the planet of thought, logic, rationalization, intellectualism. Anytime, damn, that's crazy. Actually, I forgot to turn on the microphone. But hey, fortunately, at least, right? You should be better able to hear me though. So even though I wasn't able to record the mic on the first round, the second part of the video I'll be able to. And it just shut off because I ran out of space on my SD card. But anyways, yeah, so that's what Mercury is. Mercury is all about the rational mind, thinking and logic and things like that. This can be an indication that there may be certain energies of corrosion there. It's kind of like when you think about the number 8, you can think about like the snake eating itself, right? corroding its own self. You feel me? And so the eighth house is kind of a house that deals with like transcendence and transformation, and putting death to things, because those things like need birth, like they need a renewal. You feel me? All of that is very much Scorpio. And so the eighth house. And so it's of great importance for you to find some sort of like mechanism, right, where you are continuously recycling and regenerating your thoughts. You feel me? Putting death to certain thoughts and certain ways of thinking that aren't good, And so Mercury, in one word, is perception. You feel me? It is the planet of perception. And so, yeah, like that's what it really is, to sum it all up. Like making sure that the way that you perceive certain things aren't of detriment, aren't too fixed, aren't like imprisoning you. You feel me? But rather they're assisting to free you. You feel me? Because like the eighth house, it's a very habitual house, just like Taurus. Well, yeah, like the sign Taurus is a habitual sign, but like I can't really compare. I can compare a house to a sign, but I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, so like Taurus, my bad. Like the eighth house is a very habitual house. It's getting comfortable with something, even though it's toxic, it needs to die. You feel me? And the thing about the eighth house is it's like either you learn to transcend and transform, like for example, your eighth house sun, like either you learn to transform and transcend your ego, your identity, or something that usually doesn't come in a harmonious energy comes into your life and chaotically transforms that identity for you. You feel me? So it's like of great importance to you know what, let me not get into the sun right now, because that was just an example. You feel me? But yeah, so that's primarily where the energy is at, the thoughts and the logic and things like that. Learning to transform and transcend, certain ways of thinking, certain ways of perceiving the world, even certain ways of communicating, making sure that you don't always communicate the same way with people, but kind of putting death to maybe like what I mean by this is like, see, the eighth house is associated with Mars, so it can be somewhat aggressive. You feel me? And sometimes the way of your thinking may like stir up aggressive energy within people. And so like maybe learning to find ways in which, instead of chaotically communicating with someone and causing them transformation and like kind of not know what the F is going on, because like you guys are communicating and like they're having all these different experiences and emotions, like maybe finding a way, because like what this is really just intensity and communication. So it's like, I'm not saying for you to decrease your intensity when you communicate with people, but what I am trying to say is like learning ways, I guess it's not even, it's more like learning who you can communicate with and who you don't need to communicate with, I guess, because like the eighth house is just like an intense house, you feel me? And I guess a better way of putting at it is maybe like, because the eighth house is things that are hidden and things that should be kept secret as well, like Scorpio energy as well. So maybe sometimes people may get uncomfortable in communication or feel transformed by you because you may be pointing at things that they don't want people to know, or they've never told anybody or anything like that. So they're like, what the heck? How do you know this? Etc. But yeah, I would say that pretty much like is the eighth house. You feel me? Like, not only Gemini energy is here, right, which is the thoughts and the thinking and learning to put like, death to the thoughts and the thinking, but also understanding and realizing that like, in a sense, you can acquire a lot of value and benefit from other people in regards to like the thoughts and like their thinking and their thoughts and their ideas that they may be able to present to you, um or even like their feelings and emotions, you feel me? Like, because like I did mention earlier, the eighth house is like public resources, right? And um yeah, and so with Mercury ruling over your eighth house, this can be an indication that where you would benefit mostly from public resources is like knowledge and information and tapping into other people's the public wisdom, you feel me? Like the public knowledge and public thought, books, libraries, um like education, you feel me? Communicating even, yeah, those are all things that can be valuable in regards to bringing to you, yeah, I'll leave it at that, like value, you feel me? um but yeah. And I guess last but not least, we also got to talk about magic, because this is the house of magic as well, you feel me? Actually, we don't got to talk about magic right now, because it's only the house of magic because of Mercury, you feel me? So I'll save the magical aspect when we start talking about Mercury and Cancer in the eighth house, but I'll save it for that time. Damn, I still can't believe I was here. I didn't turn on the mic. That's crazy. But anyways, let's get into your ninth house. So the ninth house, it is a house that's naturally, traditionally ruled by this. Well, not rather than saying traditionally, I should say naturally. It's naturally ruled by the sign Sagittarius, right? And so this is the house that deals with one's philosophy, one's life view, right? This is like one's religious energies, one's paradigm, how one views the world. This is one's wisdom. Like the eighth house, my bad, the ninth house is traditionally also naturally ruled by Jupiter. You feel me? And yeah, so Jupiter is the planet of expansion. It's the planet of wisdom. It's the planet of divinity. It's the planet of hope, faith, things like that. And so, yeah, that's what the ninth house is. Like the ninth house is the house of philosophy. The ninth house is the house of higher thinking, higher knowledge, higher thought. All those different things. Higher thought, higher knowledge, higher thinking. And so in the Bible, when they talk about like Jacob's ladder, the ladder that angels ascend and descend from, they're specifically touching upon like they're specifically touching upon the house of the ninth house. The ninth house, this is the house where higher thinking and higher logic can be attained. It's higher views on life, you feel me? Not mundane, like day-to-day things, but higher things like the spirit and things like that. And so this house, it kind of, what it does is it gives you insight into like the condition and the nature of your philosophy, your higher thoughts, your logic and things like that. My bad, your religion and things like that. Feel me? And so your ninth house is in the sign Leo. In the sign Leo. Okay, interesting. So within your chart, like there really isn't like the sign Cancer, it's what would be considered like intercepted, in the sense that within your eighth house you have the sign Gemini, the sign Cancer, and the sign Leo, all within your eighth house. Let me just double check to ensure that is correct. And I know I subconsciously know it's correct. I just want to double check. Yeah, pretty much, like so there's a lot of energy dealing with your eighth house, a lot of energy dealing with your eighth house. So I'm gonna talk a little bit more about the eighth house. The eighth house is the house of this. It's a psychic house. You feel me? the psychic house, it's a cadent. I mean, it's a succeedent house, meaning that its energies aren't so much of the world, but they're more so they are somewhat influential when it comes to like the world, but its energies are more so behind the scenes. You feel me? Um, and when it comes like it's a psychic house, I think I already mentioned that, and it deals with spirituality and things like that. Um, it's also it's actually a public house. You feel me? A public house, in the sense that although it deals with like the psychic influences and things like that, it's a public house in the sense that it more so deals with like psychic influences abroad, like not just psychic influences behind the scenes, but psychic influences when it comes to, like, for example, maybe being able to interact with like dead people that are not even, or ghosts, or like psychic, not psychic, but haunted houses and things like that. That's what I mean by public, so it's not so much behind the scenes, but it's more like a house that may bring forth just psychic experiences. I mean, paranormal experiences abroad. You feel me? And when I say abroad, I mean like just publicly. Like this is just shit you experience. Like maybe you're talking and communicating with people, and like you can smell like the musk of their like soul, type energy. It's very public. It's like a very public house. Yeah, and it's a house that because it's on the right side of the because it's on the right side of the horoscope, it more so deals with energies that you kind of already have, that you don't need to develop, that won't develop, but they're just there and they're gonna stay there. You feel me? And that's like the psychic energy. So yeah, like you were born psychic, and it's like it's something that you can definitely enhance and focus on, but in regards to developing, like you can bring it, like I guess you can to an extent develop it in the sense that you can bring it more to your conscious mind, but it's not so much as in you're building a house, more so there's a house that you weren't aware of, but then you brought your attention to become aware of it, if that makes sense. Yeah, and like these are things, right? Like like everything I mentioned or right now, like these are things kind of worth mentioning, but if we're looking at the broader energy, it really isn't that significant. But I felt like it was important for me to mention the eighth house because I noticed that there's a lot going on. But later when you learn astrology and things like that, I'll make sure that you really, really thoroughly understand how to read the chart, you feel me, and like the houses and things like that. But yeah. Anyways, for now, let's get into the ninth house. So the ninth house, I already mentioned what it is, and your ninth house is ruled by Leo, which is the sun. It's ruled by the sun. That makes more sense for me to say. It's ruled by the sun. And so with your with your ninth house being ruled by the sun, first and foremost, the beauty of the ninth house being ruled by the sun is that when it comes to your philosophy, your viewpoint on life and everything like that, it's tremendously up to you, because that's what Leo is. Leo is the sign of identity. It's the sign of the willpower, right? It's key phrases, I will, like I will do this. It's like identity. It's to an extent it's ego as well. Like Aries is more of the sign that holistically rules ego. But yeah, Leo also is associated with ego as well, for sure. But they're not as egotistical in the sense that the sign Leo, unlike the first emanation of the fire element, Aries, it's not so based on logic, right? Like Leo is not really logical. I mean, it is logical, but I mean, like in regards to percentage wise, when we're looking at the two signs, right? Like Aries is fully more dominated within its logic, within its rationality, within its thoughts. It's a sign that's ruled by the head. Right? It rules the head. I mean to say, and Aries is like very mentally dominant, but then Leo is like it rules the heart, and it follows its emotions. You feel me? Its feelings, and it like I said earlier, right? Like Leo, Scorpio, Libra, and Virgo. These are all signs that are the second coming. So they're like intermediates, right? So it's both like the heart and the mind, but it lets the mind go before the heart. You feel me? Like it takes into consideration the mind, the thoughts, the rationality, but then its final action and execution is like the heart. You feel me? And so like with you having Leo in the ninth house, a lot of your identity, well, I can't really say a lot of your identity because that's actually ruled by, hold on. Yeah, as I was saying, like with your sun, ruling over your ninth house, it's an energy where it's like the eighth house has tremendous influence upon the ninth house. So your psychic experiences have tremendously shaped and formed like your philosophical viewpoint on life. But ultimately though, Leo, because it rules with identity and things like that, it rules identity and things like that. It is of paramount importance that when it comes to your viewpoint and your philosophy on life, it's important to understand that it's not so much about the book, like the religious book, for example, and having a concrete understanding and knowledge, but it's more so about how you direct your willpower. In the sense that, like, when Leo is involved with the ninth house, it's not about just studying knowledge and wisdom, but actually applying knowledge and wisdom and becoming a example of that knowledge and wisdom. You feel what I'm saying? Like, because that's what Leo is. Like, it's the fixed fire, right? Fire is action, inspiration. It's like the image, the image of something. You feel me? Yeah. And so it's just important that you not only study and understand philosophy, but it's like you embody it and you integrate your understanding of philosophy and things like that with your own self, with like your being and with who you are as a person. And I hope that makes sense. So first and foremost, of course, it is important for you to study and understand, but then second, it's important for you to all right, I'm back. So yeah, I'm back. My battery for my camera ended up dying, but the last thought I remember I was on was Leo in the ninth house, and thus your sun ruling over your ninth house, right? And the sun is the planet of identity. It's the planet of the ego. It's like it's in a sense like, I want to say I am. It's the I am planet, but not really, because Aries is the planet that signifies and expresses that I am energy. You feel me? Aries is the first sign, right? And religiously, right? There's a common saying of God's name being the I am. Sorry about that. I'm pretty sure you heard that. But there's like something on my mic. But anyways, yeah. So actually, it's more I will, right? Because that's the Leo energy. Leo is all about the will and the things I will into existence. So Leo is like the ego, but then whatchamacallit? My bad. Aries is like the ego, then Leo is like the identity. You feel me? So it's of paramount importance that you learn to like identify with your philosophy, with your viewpoints on life, your grander perception on like the purpose of life, why you're here, and everything like that. Essentially, it's like a lot of people, you feel me? What they do is essentially what a lot of people do is they just study information and knowledge, but they don't really live it out, right? They don't really incorporate it with their identity. It's kind of like they have a dual identity. You know what I'm saying? Like um certain people who like may have a religious ego, but it's a ulterior ego in the sense that they themselves don't live by what they preach and things like that. So they have this holier than thou energy, but they don't really back it up. You feel me? But then it's like when we talk about Leo, right? I'm gonna get into this. Like Leo and Virgo, they're pretty close. Like Leo, in a sense, transforms into Virgo because the way that the signs are sequenced, it does tell a story of evolution. You feel what I'm saying? And so one similarity between Leo and Virgo, and I hope you don't hear like the background noise. I really hope not, because there's like the washer and things like that. But anyways, Leo and Virgo, they share the similarity of perfection. You feel me? In the sense that Leo is a fixed fire. You feel me? Leo is a fixed fire, and so it's all about the image, right? And being like pitch perfect and kind of having this identity of like I am this and I am that. A lot of the times, because Leo, Sun Leo energy, right? Because the Sun in the birth chart signifies like one's father. You feel me? And so you being a Leo Sun, it's an indication that you were more influenced by that paternal energy, like that father energy. You feel me? Or that masculine energy. And so the thing about the masculine energy, it's all about order, law. You feel me? Order and law, law and order. And so there's this energy of like there having been already instilled within you, probably from a young age, ethics and morals and principles, and kind of a sense of dignity, feeling dignified and wanting your actions to be moral and ethical, because like there's just this deeper awareness of like one's identity, and kind of not wanting to be like someone who is gross. And when I say gross, I mean like ugly. And when I say ugly, I mean like, ugly in action and ugly in like morality, ugly in thought, things like that. So Leos, like Virgo, they also incline towards like purity, and this is where like Leo's energy of judgment can manifest. It's like they judge it. They're like Virgo, right? Because Virgo is very self-analytical, but they can be analytical of others too. Leo has this energy too, where it's like they continuously judge themselves and they make sure that they're not doing certain things, and a desire to live a life of phenomenal ethics. And this is just simplifying the words, like I'm pretty sure there's more detail to what I'm saying, like, but ethics is a broad perspective that I feel like you can understand what is categorized under ethics. You feel what I'm saying? I hope so. But anyways, yeah, so the importance of that is I already got into like the religious energy, and when I say religious, a lot of the times the way that the child is instilled ethics and morality by the father is through religion. You feel me? And so now that you're older, it's of paramount importance that you and of yourself learn to mold and like shape your own viewpoint in regards to what life really is, the laws and principles that govern the universe, and in a sense live in alignment with that. Integrate your will with that, yeah. And so I guess another deeper aspect of this is like we'll get more into it when we talk about the sun, because like your sun is in the 8th house, and that's kind of a little different from like the 9th house energy, but it's both Leo energy. You feel me? But yeah. Anyways, I hope that makes sense. In other terms, like this can kind of also play out an energy of fixatedness when it comes to viewing and thinking how life may be, or yeah, how life is supposed to be. Because Leo is very fixed sign, right? And so this energy can play out in a manner where it's like you may feel like things are a specific certain way. And it goes back to Leo ruling over the identity, kind of like not being able to see what life is outside of yourself, outside of your identity. You feel me? And so um, in learning philosophy, it's important to primarily focus upon your identity. And what I mean by this is your archetype, your true essence and your true nature as an individual, and understanding your multidimensionalness. You feel me? The fact that you're not just a human being, right? You don't just have a physical body, but you have many different faces, right? Many different dimensions, and truly tapping in and learning to start to relate with your higher self. You feel me? And so this term higher self, it's very real, and like the best explanation, like the explanation I resonate with is that one that deals with the fact that like your higher self is like that aspect of you in a sense that is divine, the divine spark, that exists within all of us. We all have a piece of God within us, right? Like this is biblically known, religiously acknowledged. You feel me? Like, and that divine spark that exists within all of us, that's like your higher self. It is perfect, it is not flawed. It doesn't really exist within the lower planes. It in a sense, I like to think of it as a like your blueprint to exactly what it is that you were supposed to be. Now I want to kind of get a little bit into the occult. So my understanding is, in our manifestation into existence, you can say we're like in the presence of like the kingdom of God, and I'm using very general terms. And within this kingdom, right, we manifested to fulfill a purpose, to fulfill a role, right? This is why all of us have this inner yearning for significance, like this inner yearning to become something. You feel what I'm saying? Because when we came into existence, we did come in with that purpose. You feel me? And so your initial first birth, you had like a birth, quote unquote, a birth chart. You feel me? But it's like in the celestial plane, because there's the celestial, the spiritual, the astral, and then finally the material, which is the lowest or the densest. But within the celestial plane, the correspondences are different there than the correspondence here. Like here, it's the earth and then the planets. But within the celestial realm, it's beyond me to know, honestly. But the point I'm trying to get across is, just as in this plane we can see correspondences, like look at different planetary energies and be like, so this is my energy, like this is what I resonate and correlate with. Within the higher planes, like once you get into the astral plane, and the word astral means star, once you and of yourself, quote unquote, manifest into like the star world, right? It's like every single vessel, every single thing is a vessel. You feel me? Like the trees are vessels, atoms are vessels, dirt is a vessel, air is a vessel, a planet is a vessel, a sun is a vessel, stars are vessels, a whole constellation is a vessel, a solar system is a vessel. You feel me? And there's different levels according to how much you have assimilated in regards to wisdom and love. Like wisdom, in a sense, enables you to expand your consciousness and awareness, and love enables you, in a sense, to hold things together. Love is like magnetic. You feel what I'm saying? So consciousness is like electric and love is like magnetic, in the sense that a human body, right? There are so many different things going on. Like we have different communities. In order for them, for the soul to be able to hold them all together, like to hold the brain cells, the heart cells, the eye cells, the skin cells together, it had to have developed a degree of love, feel me, which is now expressing amongst these different cells. You feel what I'm saying? And so it's like the more it grows in love, the more it can get into something that's bigger and animate that thing. I hope that makes sense. You feel me? So like the more love you get, like eventually with enough love and wisdom and love are both needed, then eventually you'd be able to like incarnate into like a moon or like a planet or things like that. But that's a whole completely other story, you feel me? But I don't know why, I just felt like I should get into that. um and I know one way or another it resonates, it's somehow fitting in this reading. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much like the ninth house. Now let's get into like the 10th house. And let me check to see what's popping here. So give me a sec. So the 10th house, right? So let me talk about what the 10th house signifies. So the 10th house, it is the house of reputation. It deals with the career, right? It deals with one's status. It deals with one's reputation, how one represents themselves in the public world. The 10th house, it's also the house that deals with credibility. Like this is where in life you go to build your status. This is where in life you go to get honor, to get credit, to get like the trophies. You feel me? So that's like that department of life. You feel what I'm saying? Like for me, just to give an example, I have like my Gemini. My Gemini is in the 10th house. So for me, where honor and credit and status is like my intellect, my knowledge, my information, where I communicate, and that's where I'm focusing my energy towards building reputation, status, things like that. And for you, you have ooh, sheesh, you have Virgo. I mean, whoa, that's not a bad thing. I think the sheesh came from the me also recognizing, Venus there. But yeah, you have Virgo for your 10th house. You feel what I'm saying? And so Virgo ultimately is the sign of service, right? Within the constellation, Virgo is signified by the maiden. You feel what I'm saying? And so the maiden, right? She is recognized also holding grain. Honestly, my memory's kind of foggy. I forget, because I'm pretty sure she was holding two things on one hand and the other. But ultimately, the maiden, she is like the servant, right? She is the maiden, right? Like it's in her name, the maiden, the maid. So Virgo is very much a sign that deals with servitude and service. All right. And so you also have Venus within your 10th house, right? And this is of importance because Venus is actually the first ruler of your 10th house. The second ruler of your 10th house is Mercury. Mercury rules your 10th house by sign. Because Mercury rules Virgo, Mercury ultimately has a resonance over that sign. You feel me? Like it has a connection to Virgo because it rules Virgo. But Venus is in that house, the 10th house, right? So Venus also governs and rules tremendously over those things that are denoted by your 10th house. So first and foremost, with your 10th house being in Virgo, right? Where reputation accumulates for you, deals with service, right? Deals with labor, deals with the area, like not the area in life, because this is what we're talking about, the 10th house, which is the house of reputation and things like that. That house, it's very much dominated by how well can you serve others. And it's like, because it's an earth sign, it's a very practical way of like, how much are you like giving to others and how much are you helping others. And so I also want to mention this. So Virgo and Pisces are polar opposites. So the sign Virgo, in correlation to Pisces, the sign Virgo more so deals with assisting someone materially. You feel what I'm saying? Like making sure that someone, like Virgo is a sign that very much so deals with resources. And it's a problem solver, right? It helps people solve problems through material needs, the material acquisitions. Meanwhile, Pisces is the complete opposite, and it more so deals with the inner realm and spirituality and helping and serving humanity through bringing forth like love. So I guess the primary difference here is like Virgo is all about knowledge and intellect and helping humanity through the knowledge and the intellect of the physical world. Meanwhile, Pisces is like helping humanity through the knowledge of like the spiritual world, you feel what I'm saying? And so your reputation is highly centered around how much you can assist and service others in regards to like practical means. And so I think it'd be benefit for me to talk just a little bit, because I'll be getting deeper into the Venus. Like Venus, right? Venus is a planet of like ease, the planet of beauty, the planet of art, the planet of expression, and it's also the planet of social interactions. Like connecting with people and creating harmony for people. So that also is something that's highlighting the fact that when it comes to like your what you are to be recognized for, and what you tend to get recognized for, it does deal a lot with like how much like possibly harmony you may be able to bring to someone. Hold on, but I gotta think about this, because like because Venus is debilitated, right? So naturally Venus deals with harmony and balance, but when Venus is in Virgo, it's kind of like on quicksand, you feel me? So really, in simple terms, it really is just all about how well you use your analytical abilities to detect problems and issues and then resolve them and assist others. So the thing about Virgo is it is an earth sign, but it's ruled by an air planet. So the Mercury, the planet it's ruled by, deals with intellect, it deals with mind, it deals with rationality. Meanwhile, Virgo being an earth sign, it deals with practicality and things like that. So ultimately, to put those two together, it's all about how well are you able to like put forth plans and then execute them. You feel me? And so in regards to the things that are being planned out, because that's what Virgo also deals with. It deals with like your thoughts that aren't so publicly demonstrated, but your thoughts behind the scenes, how you plan things out, how you scheme, you feel me? Like when I think of Virgo, it's kind of like the nuts and bolts, that make a clock run, you feel what I'm saying? And so yeah, like I feel like this energy right here, it's kind of more like um getting, because Virgo is also naturally ruled by the sixth house, so possibly like getting recognized for the work that you do, you feel me? Like that's literally what it is, like getting recognized for the work that you do, the labor that you give, and how you benefit others, you feel me? And it may be a practical means. And like I said, we got Venus in there, and like Venus rules over Taurus and it rules over Libra. Taurus, deals with like finances, money, wealth, things like that. And then and then Libra deals with like beauty, art. Taurus also deals with beauty and art. But Libra more so deals with like literature and like literature and like artistic expression through language and through words. You feel what I'm saying? And to conclude, I'll leave it at this. Once you find a means of work, that let me also never mind, I don't really gotta do that. I want to, though. I think I should, though. Like once you find a means of work where you know that this work can truly help you contribute to humanity, then your achievements within that field will tremendously be recognized. So yeah, it is a house all about labor, all about work, and doing something to help others. You feel me? And once that thing is done, then recognition comes. But all right, so that's pretty much the 10th house. Now let's get into the 11th house, and then we'll talk about the 12th house, and we'll conclude this session. Okay. She knows what she's doing. She's in Aries. You know how Aries are, their desire for attention. anyways, so Libra is within your 11th house. So the 11th house is the house of friendships, associationships. So we talked about the 7th house earlier, right? In the 7th house, the 7th house, the 11th house, and the 3rd house, these are all houses that these are the houses of associationship, right? All of these houses deal with how it is that you connect with people and how it is that you interact with people. Now, the 3rd house, and more so, is how you interact with your immediate environment. It's the house of siblings, for example, because that's like your first initial interactions. But it's also how you interact with your thoughts, with yourself, with your mind, with your thoughts. I already said that, and your neighborhood. But then the 7th house is those intimate personal relationships you make, those one-on-one relationships. Like, I like you. You want to be my best friend? Type energy. But then the 11th house is like, this is like my circle, right? Like these are my friends, and we're cool, but I don't really F with this person, but he doesn't know it. Like you guys are just friends, but it's not really deep. Like that's the 11th house energy. You feel what I'm saying? All right, and so your 11th house is in Libra. So with your 11th house being in Libra, it does indicate harmony within relationships that are social related. So Libra is the sign of balance and harmony. It is the sign of compromising. It is the sign of passivity. It's more passive than assertive, because the opposite to Libra is Aries. You feel what I'm saying? And yeah. So with you having your 11th house within the sign Libra, this indicates first and foremost that you do enjoy socializing and like having friends and things like that, even if it's like on a surface level. I mean, most of the time it is on a surface level. So the way that this energy plays out, because Libra naturally belongs in the 7th house, right, which is the house of personal relationships. So this may indicate that you may have a variety of different friends who you have built personal connections with, but it's like this person kind of has access to this aspect of you, then this person has access to this aspect of you, then this person has access to this aspect of you. But then them all together and collectively, they in a sense go on to like form. They all collect together and collectively go on to form like one friend. Like I don't know if that made sense or not, but it's an energy where it's like maybe having a distortion of many different friends, not having just one confidant, but having many different people which you engage with to release like hold on, let me think about this before I speak. So it's like having a variety of different friends, different places, but then all of them kind of having a function or a role or service. So maybe not having one best friend, but having a couple friends, and then having a group of best friends, but all of them serving something different. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of like It's kind of like, you know that movie Split? You know how in Split, like that movie about the multi personalities, it's like one person, but he has all these different characters. Well, for you, it's like you have all these different characters, and then they can create one friend. Or really, like this energy can even play out as, because Libra is one-on-one relationships. It can even play out as you don't do so well when it comes to having a variety of different people, but you may just want to have one specific friend, and then that one specific friend may be like that person with the split personalities. But getting out of that, like, take it as it resonates. But like that's one explanation I feel like I can give. But take it as it resonates. But ultimately, because Libra is the sign of harmony and balance, it does indicate that within your friend circle, fudge. Within your friend circle, right, there is harmony and balance. But then it's like it's not that simple, because you have Virgo detriment, so it's kind of a yin and yang type energy where it's like, see, the thing about Virgo is it's somewhat paranoid, right? And that's why when Venus is in Virgo, like friendships and relationships get effed up, because that paranoia from Virgo, it kind of like, because the thing about astrology, right? And the more you work with me and the deeper we get, I'll start guiding and gearing you towards like mental alchemy, if what I'm saying. And the thing about mental alchemy is, it's like once you understand astrology, then you start to learn what thoughts like the sun represents in the mind, what thought trend like signs represent in the mind. And then once you understand that, then you start to understand that, okay, so Venus, right, is social. It deals with social thoughts. You start to understand that when it comes to your social thoughts, they're very dominated by analytical energy. And then you start to understand that ultimately, I don't want to get too deep into this. Virgo is a sign. Virgo and Gemini, both planets that are ruled by Mercury, they are prone to paranoia and like worrying. And the thing about worrying and paranoia is, when you have thoughts that are worrisome and paranormal, they attract to you events that are reflective to that, but we'll get into that later. Like, mind stuff is so real when it comes to manifestation. Like, that's literally the essence of it, right? So this shit is real. It's deep for sure. But anyways, yeah, like I'll just talk about like the Libra energy, and then later when I'm talking about Venus, I'll touch on Libra again, because Libra is ruled by Venus, 11th house. But yeah, so ultimately, if you do have a group of friends, right, who you interact with, they can be a source of great like harmony, and they can help balance you out, if you know what I'm saying, because that's what Libra is all about: balance and equilibrium. And if you don't have friends, right, who you feel like you can trust or whatever, then I would actually motivate like the cultivation of friends, you feel me, and having a social setting, because that can act as a great source for you to like ease and chill and kind of find balance and equilibrium again within your life. You feel me? Social energy can definitely be that for you. But yeah, like that's pretty much like the 11th house. So I guess like with Libra being in the 11th house on your end, it can even possibly be like you kind of being everyone. Like earlier I said the split and you having and it was you versus them. But what if it was like you who was the actual individual who was split, and you had different characteristics for different people? Like that may even be how it expresses, you feel me? Like kind of being like a people person when it comes to your friends and your social group and things like that, and kind of giving and helping and serving everyone and compromising to everyone and things like that. You feel me? Like there's definitely a possibility as well for sure. And now to get into your 12th house. So your 12th house is let me check. So your 12th house is damn, it's getting dark. Um so your 12th house is in Scorpio. Okay. So with your 12th house being in Scorpio, you feel me? The 12th house is a house that deals with hidden things, right? It deals with the unconscious mind. It deals with the spiritual world, right? And so this is a hyper intense house, you feel me? Like, I mean, Scorpio in the 12th house is hyper intense. So first and foremost, dealing with the unconscious mind, right? The 12th house, it signifies those things within your characteristics that are somewhat hidden from you, right? They deal with even strength and qualities and abilities that are positive, that are somewhat repressed and hidden from you. But they also deal with like certain things that you may need to look into that you're not aware of. You feel me? So ultimately, very unconscious energy. And it's also the house of healing, right? It's the house of imprisonment, the undoing of the self. You feel me? It's also the house that deals with karma. So it's more of a negative than a positive house. It's like the house of sorrows and baggage and things like that. You feel me? And so Scorpio is ruled by Mars and Pluto, right? Both somewhat, like Mars is 100% a maleficent planet, but Pluto is like a yo-yo. Right? It kind of bounces back and forth between negative and positive. You feel me? It's very dualistic. It has two sides. You feel me? But Mars is 100% negative. You feel me? Like, of course you can transform it into positive energy, but like out the box it's just raw aggressive energy. You feel me? So this is an indication of like, okay, with Mars and Scorpio here, Scorpio in the 12th house. First and foremost, it's of great importance for you to tap in and really understand certain things that you have repressed, because Scorpio is fixed water, right? And it kind of deals with repression, because the 8th house very much deals with the past things that happened. And Scorpios in of themselves, they have this tendency of fixating themselves upon emotions, right? Like it sounds, fixed water, emotions, water, fixed, stubborn, so it's important for you, like earlier I was talking about your 8th house in Gemini, and how it's important to learn to cultivate and like not cultivate but learn to cleanse and give renewal and rebirth to your thoughts, and because Cancer was in your 8th house, I also brought up emotions, and with the 12th house being here, it's like doing psychological work, like analysis and things like that. You feel me? Where it's like, for example, you can to figure what the things that dwell within your subconscious mind. There's one exercise you can do where, like, right in the morning or right before you go to sleep, you feel me, like allow yourself to get into a very calm and chill like state, you feel me, and get into as close of a sleep state as possible without falling asleep. And then once you're in that, it's like meditation, right? And then once you're in that, your body's asleep but your mind is awake, then allow yourself to observe and just analyze the different thoughts that come, feel me? And every now and then allow yourself to get out of that state, to write the things that come down, and like continuously note and like do this for at least like a month, you feel me? And usually in the beginning, like the thoughts may seem random, they may seem like they don't make sense, but then after like having collected an immense amount of knowledge and information, then it's like you are able to really start to understand the things that are going on within your unconscious mind, you feel what I'm saying? And then once you understand those things, then you can start to like heal, you feel me, and work on them, things like that. So yeah, that's pretty much like the 12th house in Scorpio. It deals with repression, energies that were repressed, like Scorpio, right? Like the part of the body that is ruled by Scorpio is like covered up, and like in of itself, Scorpio deals with like things that are taboo, things that are hidden, things that you shouldn't speak upon, etc. You feel me? So um it's of paramount importance that you tap in to your unconscious mind and really understand what things were repressed. Because like for example, in Hercules, the Hydra monster, right, who had like many different heads, and like Hercules would slay one head, but then like two more will pop up. Like that's very Scorpio energy. um and what I mean by that is like, as long as he tried to like slay it, like cut it off, without truly dealing with it, because only once he started to like apply heat onto the head did it stop growing back. And applying heat onto the head is like really looking at the problem and solution and dealing with it and resolving it and redirecting the way that the energy expresses. For example, as you're doing your psychoanalysis, you feel me, like there may be certain thoughts that may come up and they may make you feel a type of way, like certain emotions are being released from that thought. And so then the problem is the emotion that's being released. And so once you learn to resolve that emotion, then things start to get more clear and things start to get better. You feel me? But honestly though, with Scorpio being in the 12th house, this kind of is like very heavy energy, because both Scorpio and the 12th house deal with imprisonment. You feel me? And like the thing here is emotions, right? Emotions, because the 12th house is an emotional house, and so is Scorpio. You feel me? And so it's of paramount importance that you take like shadow work highly seriously. And interesting how I'm closing this reading off by saying this, because even with your and interesting how it's dark. Scorpio energy, it makes sense. So like yeah, with the Scorpio energy, and even like with your sun in the 8th house and you Mercury in the 8th house, psychoanalysis and really becoming conscious and aware of the things within your subconscious mind are of paramount importance. Now, when it comes to hidden abilities, like your magnetism, right, like your ability to draw things and attract things to yourself are very powerful. You're a very powerful manifester, because it's like the 12th house is in Scorpio, but so is the 1st house. You feel me? So it's very powerful energy right there. Scorpio, it deals with desire. You feel me? It's all about desire energy. And so the better you can learn to channel your desire, the greater the results will be. And so the thing about emotions, like when you're doing your psychoanalysis and you start to see certain patterns of thoughts, those thoughts, and when they start releasing emotions, like when you start to think a certain thing and then you start to feel negative, like there is a desire that's being released there. You feel me? But it's negatively being released. It's not freed. And the thing about desire is it cannot be repressed. You feel me? Like when people try to repress desire, and when we're talking about Scorpio, so let's talk about sexual desire, right? Religion, they try to repress, a lot of religions try to repress sex, right? And so that it plays out in very hideous ways, right? Like sexual misconduct in like the churches, and just like just all bad. You feel me? Like even religious people, like they are like behind the scenes, like all types of weird sexual shit happen, and then up front but it's like you can't repress sex because it's a biological urge. You feel me? So yeah, like it's important for you to understand energy, your energies, and how they want to express themselves, and then free them so then they may express themselves freely and holistically. You feel what I'm saying? And I'll get more into the 12th house when we talk about your Mars. You feel me? But in a nutshell, that's pretty much that. You feel me? Scorpio, fixedness, learning to release certain things that um you held grudges upon. But because it's the 12th house, this is an unconscious energy. Like you may have on a conscious level been like, oh whatever, I let it go, but then like pay attention to like certain actions and certain behaviors, because your conscious mind, right, psychologically is said to be 5% of your experience, your reality, or what influence it influences 5% of your reality and experience. But then 95% of your experience and reality is influenced by your subconscious and unconscious mind. You feel what I'm saying? So the best way to truly become aware of the things within your unconscious mind is by observing and understanding the things, or the way that your actions are, the way that you act. You feel what I'm saying? Because the way that you act gives it away. But anyways, that's pretty much it. And it's interesting I bring up action because Mars and Scorpio and Aries are both ruled by Mars, the planet of action execution. But Scorpio is like behind the scenes. It's the feminine, it's the dark, the mystery, right? And it's no coincidence that Scorpio has a strong association with the unconscious mind, right? And the cool thing about this, I'll tell you, is you can leverage, like a lot of us, most of us, everyone can leverage their subconscious mind to program it and then allow certain things to start coming into fruition. But because you have Scorpio, the sign of desire, ruling over the unconscious mind, like when you start getting your desire energies correctly, then boom, like these things will start happening. And I really want to bring up that book, Think and Grow Rich. You feel me? Within that book, there's a portion where Napoleon Hill, if I'm not mistaken, the author, Napoleon Hill, he talks about the value of desire, right? And learning how to channel desire. It's powerful. You feel me? But that's pretty much it. And yeah, I look forward to doing your next session. I hope that you extracted value from this reading. I hope you enjoyed receiving as much as I enjoyed doing it. And I'm still laughing at the fact that I'm in the dark now. I don't know. It's just funny to me because when I do these readings, I'd be tapping into like the energies of like the chart. But anyways, peace, 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 peace.